Football show powered by EP Sports. EP Sports is the top supplier in the UK for all of your American football needs, helping players and coaches reach their potential since 2007. Check them out at epsports.co.uk. I'm here with Joe, Tim, and Craig, and today we are covering the southern divisions of the ELF. But first, some news. I pointed at the wrong screen. The biggest news this week is legend GOAT kicker of all time, Adam Vinatieri, has finally retired. So I think some of us might have thought he'd already been retired, to be fair. But yeah, he's finally hung his cleats up with what the NFL's top scorer of all time. Pretty incredible career for him.
Yeah, absolute legend of the game. You could say, you're saying he's the GOAT kicker. At the moment, that has just retired. Obviously, Justin Tucker's going to put his way forward. But now he's a legend. He kicked one of the most famous kicks ever when we beat the Panthers. I mean, I wasn't old enough to really be watching then. But yeah, that's what I know him for personally. And obviously his longevity in the game is just unheard of. So yeah, absolute legend.
He's been in the game so long that he actually kicked the field goal in the tuck rule game. I knew I'd find a way to get the tuck rule in there somewhere.
There's always the one. It's like he's been in the league so long he tackled Herschel Walker. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Justin Tucker's probably coming for the title. But if you look at clutch moments, Vinatieri pretty much put 2 Super Bowls on his foot, and he got 4 rings overall. I get Justin Tucker's probably better, but he has to have some Super Bowls won just on his foot alone to start touching his caliber in the echelons of kickers, I reckon.
And make it to 50.
How old is he when he retired? 48.
Yeah, 48, not 58. Blimey.
Jesus. It's pretty impressive, 48. Do you reckon Brady goes to 48?
No. Well,
Brady's now 43.
Yeah, 43, 44, something like that.
Wasn't the oldest player playing the NFL 63? I'm pretty sure George Blanda, who was a quarterback, and then he became a kicker. I think he was a quarterback and a kicker, but latterly he was only a kicker, but I'm sure it was something ridiculous like that. I'm just Googling it really quickly, so carry on, professional.
So, this is the thing, kickers could go on for a long time. I was watching Gary Neville did an interview with Harry Kane when they were playing golf, and Harry Kane talks about how he literally has the ambition to be an NFL kicker after he finishes playing football. And if he retired at 35, with Vinatieri's numbers, he's got a 10-year career. If he's good enough, obviously, he's got a 10-year career in kicking, which would be cool.
I can't see it. Harry Kane's a great footballer, but there's no way he's gonna have. It's different shaped ball to start with.
I was way out. George Blanda retired from pro football at the age of 48. So he's the oldest player ever to play in the NFL at 48.
Okay. But yeah. I think if you're obviously an amazing footballer, you're going to have the leg power behind it. But like Craig said, it's a different shaped ball. You're going to have 11 very large men trying to take your head off. I don't think it's granted he might be able to, but it's not something you can walk into.
Yeah, they've even had rugby players try out as kickers. I think it was a novelty, but I think for the Scottish Claymores, they had Gavin Hastings trotted on to do a bit of kicking, and an old Welsh player called Paul Thorburn. He kicked at one of the American Bowl games back in the 80s. Neither have made it. It's a different sport. It's a different ball.
I think Johnny Wilkinson was offered something, or there was talks about the 49ers were going to offer him money to go and kick, but he said he'd rather play rugby and get hit.
Maybe, what about a goalkeeper? Maybe a goalkeeper might be a bit better at it because they're good at wellying the ball up the other end of the field.
Yeah, Edison for Man City could do it because he can literally kick the full length of a football pitch.
I don't know the answer to this, but why don't they have kickers and punters? Do one person do both? Is it a different leg action?
It's a whole different skill.
Yeah. Because
then if he got injured, you're fucked as well.
I think punters harder.
Some punters do kickoffs, not field goals, though.
Yeah, because if they want to just drill it into the back, the punter's generally got the stronger leg.
Right. The kicker's more accurate. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're punting, you're not just going for accuracy, you're also going for height because you want as much hang time as possible.
And then do you want to put backspin on it? Do you want to put side spin on it? Like punting's a weird art.
I honestly think it's hard. I think obviously you get the pressure with being a kicker, but I think being a punter, being a good punter, I think is harder than being a good kicker.
You've got much more of a chance of getting leaded, I think, as well as a punter than you do as a kicker.
I mean, you can go down so far into tactics. I didn't Bill Belichick like when they were facing like a left-footed punter one time. He was like drilling in his special teams to catch balls from left-footed punters because they spin differently.
Yeah, left-footers.
So, talking about the Pats, I guess. I just want to shout out. I did hint to this way back when we did off-season potential trades and free agency and that. There's Julio Jones rumors that he's unhappy with the Falcons for whatever reasons, and multiple teams, including the New England Patriots, are reaching out to try and trade for him. I've just seen then recently that unconfirmed source says there's at least a first rounder on the table for him. So obviously he's maybe coming on to the end of his peak. He's been injured, I think, for the last 2 seasons for periods of it both times. But I mean, he's one of the most physically dominant receivers. I mean, Joe, do you think you can afford him and get him on your team, or do you think maybe another team that needs you guys got 2 tight ends now?
Yeah, I think we can afford him. I don't think that's massively an issue there. I mean, I would give up a first round for him 100%. I think, especially with Mac Jones coming in, and there's a lot more rumors now. Mac Jones getting pushed higher and higher, sort of up the pecking order of the quarterbacks. And I think someone like Julio would be amazing to just give him that safety net, along with the 2 tight ends and with the running game that we're sort of trying to develop. But I've seen it a lot. Even the Patriots official account was tweeting something about, oh yeah, here are Julio Jones rumors, and you've had players like Devin McCourty and Harris and all of that, and Trent Brown are all basically rooting to get Julio Jones to the Patriots. He's honestly my top 3 favorite players in the NFL, so I'd be over the moon. I'd trade whatever. You're right, he is coming on a bit, and first round, was he 32? Was he? I don't know.
30. No, he's not 35. That's definitely wrong.
I think he's about 30. I think he's early 30s. So he hasn't got much left in him. It depends with that first round. When you put a first rounder in, you almost want an instant success. And I think that's the aim with him. It's either, right, we're going to really push for at least the AFC Championship in the next 2 years. And that's the sort of move you'd be making with a first rounder. I take it, but they need to make sure they're getting it right.
I don't know if I see him going there, to be honest. He's made a point of saying that he wants to win right now. And I don't know if the Patriots are quite at that level yet. I know they've made a lot of steps forward in terms of improving from where they were last season, but I don't know if they're sort of at where he wants the team to be, where he wants to go to right now.
I think the want to win thing's a bit of a smokescreen, because the 3 major players this off-season who talked about trading and give a list of teams they go to have said, I want to go somewhere that I can win. So you've got Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and now Julio Jones. All 3 of them have said they want to go to Vegas. So if they really want to win, why do they want to go to Vegas? Because that team's nowhere near ready to win. So it's a bit of a smokescreen, really.
Yeah, it's tough though, because he was sort of he on that video in that phone call with Shannon Sharp. Sharp did him dirty. I'm sorry. He did not realise that he was on live TV when he took that phone call, saying that he's out of Atlanta. So he's come and said that on live TV. He's pretty much out the door. And then talking about not going to Dallas was like another thing there. And I don't know if he wants to win, but you look at the teams who can realistically win. Not how many of those will be able to afford him. That's a difficult thing. They've already put a lot of their eggs in a basket, and it's tough. But I mean, I'm not going to, blow the Patriots trumpet and say that we're going to be that team next year. But I think we could be one of those that grow over time. And if we were to sneak into the playoffs with that team gelling and getting better and better, there is always an outside chance of a deep push.
He was rumoured a lot for the Ravens. a while ago. I don't know if I see that happening, but I was thinking two possible, maybe likely landing spots for them could be the Colts or maybe even the Chargers.
I've heard the Titans talked about as well.
Yeah.
I could see that,
Yeah.
but I know the Titans are quite up against it in terms of cap space, so I don't know how they would make that work.
But I disagree with you, Joe. He 100% knew that phone call was getting recorded.
Really?
Totally. Right. So it's live TV. What happens if he swears? What happens if I'm done with those motherfuckers? I'm right out of here. Right? No player, if they don't know, and Shannon Sharp was just phone up, who are other players ever going to speak to Shannon Sharp again? And also, and this was on another podcast, so I'm not a legal expert, but apparently it's a 2-consent state. So it needs 2 people to consent to have a phone call or anything recorded. So Shannon Sharp would have broken the law. So it just was all a bit too neat and tidy. And if it's live and he's so pally with Shannon Sharp that he answers his phone, he must know that Shannon Sharp's program is on TV at that particular time of the day.
True.
And it's the swear. I couldn't get through a conversation with someone without swearing.
Yeah, if they're like a close mate of yours.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if I was talking about leaving my job. Oh, fuck, forget that. I'm out. You know what I mean? I did it. I couldn't even not swear in it.
Yeah, it's like me and Adam and now when we greet each other, if we don't greet each other with with some sort of insult, then something's wrong.
That's a very funny thought. So final bit of news before we get on to the main segment is something that's, I don't think it's too concrete, but it's an interesting thing to talk about. So we mentioned the Spanoses who own the Chargers. There was some talk about debt and potentially selling. Well, that has kind of resurfaced a little bit along with the Bears. I think it's the Hallis something or others. They've been rumored that they're potentially going to be selling. So two teams. I mean, I don't think the Bears would move at all because Chicago is a pretty well-founded city for it, and the Bears are obviously very famous. But potential ownership moves, potential location moves.
Yeah, I heard Jeff Bezos was looking at the Chargers, I believe.
Didn't he purchase some of the Washington team? Oh, that was Jay-Z. Jay-Z bought some of the Washington team.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So I just looked up quickly. The owner of the Chicago Bears is a 98-year-old lady. So I doubt she has very much input into what happens, but
she's doing well. Doing well for 98. Fair play.
From when we did the previous picker teams, I think I remember like she's really well regarded and pretty on top of it.
I think she's like the granddaughter of George Hallis.
Great granddaughter or something.
So and I don't think the Bears and the Chargers are two completely different things. The Bears won't change at all no matter who the owner comes in. It'll be exact same team, same stadium. The Chargers, I could see them moving them back to San Diego or something because it's not really working out for them in LA.
I don't think they're going back to San Diego.
Well, they've burnt too many bridges there.
Yeah, I think that's too fresh of a wound.
Yeah, so I think actually saying that, you're right, because San Diego, main problem was stadium, and they still not got a stadium in San Diego. So
what city would you suggest that maybe they would go to then? Like, where's another big enough market? Where'd be a big enough market for them?
San Antonio is one that's often thrown about.
Oklahoma as well.
Is there any like obviously big cities that don't have a team? I'm trying to think really.
You got like Salt Lake is a bit too in the wilderness, isn't it? You got like Oregon, Portland.
Move it out in the sticks somewhere.
Yeah,
put some little village somewhere in the middle of America.
Why not? Go north.
Missouri. Yeah, whack it in the middle of Missouri.
Alaska.
Yeah. Oh, could you imagine if they had a Hawaii team? I know it'd be difficult to build there, but that'd be amazing.
Right in the arse end of Wyoming or something like.
In a field.
Or give Toronto a team.
Ooh.
Give them an NFL team. They're in every other major league.
Right. should we get on to some European football instead then?
Yeah.
Okay, so last week we did the Northern Division, and now we are heading down south to the Southern Division.
I'd say did the Northern Division is a little bit generous, but okay.
I'll have you know that some of those facts are true.
Look forward to trying some of that beer and scran that Joe was telling about.
Oh yeah, you get ready for Stuttgart stuff, I tell you that.
I may have just kind of copied all the ideas that you guys did for this one, by the way.
It's all good. It's all good stuff.
So, with that in mind, we did set the order before we started recording, but I'm going first with the Barcelona Dragons. So let me bring up my stuff. Right. So the name is the Barcelona Dragons. They were apparently going to be called the Gladiators, but they got the rights to the Dragons again. Head coach Adam Rita. He was the center for the Boise State Broncos back in the 60s. He went on to head coach for 3 CFL teams and also GM for 2 of them. So he's been on both sides of the back office, I guess, front office. Fun fact. So head coach for 3 European teams before going to Barcelona. But fun fact, he was the man who paddled the canoe in the wedding for Elvis Presley's Blue Hawaii movie, because he is a very good canoeer, because he was like a really big into canoeing. He's from Hawaii. So there you go. If you like
How old is he?
Yeah.
Well, he played centre in the 60s, so
Okay.
he's probably coming into his 70s now. General manager Bart Iacarino, on the flip side, I think he's like 30, early 30s. He's very young. When he started playing football at the age of 16, he used to get an hour and 20-minute drive each way from his mum's to play his nearest team. So he's certainly been committed, and he's played a fair bit in Germany before he got back into GMing. The home stadium for the Dragons is the Estadio del Municipal de Reus. And I did this bit right at the end of all my recording, and I've just found out it's not actually in Barcelona. So it's right outside, but all the next things you're going to hear about Barcelona, but I'm assuming you'd visit the city. There's also 4,700 seats. And the colours for the Dragons, which in my opinion are easily in the top 2, is golden yellow, dark green, white and maroon. I just think they're really clean and really nice. And their first game is against the Stuttgart Surge. I think their first 5 games are at home. So if you're a Barcelona fan, you're going to have a good time if you're in Spain. They are the only, along with the Barcelona Dragons from previous years, they are the only Spanish pro football team in history. So that's pretty good. Onto the roster. So their full roster is on their website and the EFL website. I think they're down to 51 at the moment. They're planning on getting a new defensive back in there. But we have the quarterback, Zach Edwards, from the United States of America, who will be coming on the show shortly to talk to us. But really exciting tape. I was having a look at his stuff, a lot to look forward to. He played at St. Scholastica College for 3 years, started all 36 of his games, so he's a availability guy. Threw for a school record 90 touchdowns and 9,024 yards in those 3 seasons. Each of those seasons, he got all conference nods. And then in his 2019 season, he was invited to the FCS Bowl and got MVP. So whilst he's only been in Div 3, where he's been, he's absolutely succeeded in. After playing in college, he went to, this is a hard name, L'Hospitalet Pioneers. And he took them to a 6-0 record. And then the GM for them, which was Bart Iacarino, he moved to the Dragons and he's brought the quarterback with him. Next player, O-line, Jan Rouse from the Czech Republic. He plays centre and guard, and he won 4 consecutive titles in, I think it's the Czech League with the Prague Black Panthers. So he's been very successful where he's been. And I believe he actually played with Zach Edwards as well for the Pioneers in the COVID-shortened season. On to someone I think we've mentioned last episode, Floridian Justin Francis. He's 31 years old coming into the league, so he's one of the more elder players. And Joe might remember him as he was a linebacker for the New England Patriots back in 2013 when they lost to the Ravens in the AFC Championship. Joe, I'm sure you remember, you just might have forgotten.
I remember that game.
But yeah, played in Germany since then. But hey, you're getting a pretty veteran player there who's been under some pretty esteemed coaches, and is probably going to bring a lot to the linebacker room. Final player I've got to talk about is the wide receiver and kick returner. I don't know how to say this, Gene Constant, but he's an All-American when he played at college as both wide receiver and kick returner. He's from Florida, so it's going to be nice to have him as a spark plug on that offense. But like I said, the full roster is on there, and there's a whole bunch of names if you want to go through them. But anyway, on to the best part, the fun facts about Barcelona. The sand from the beaches is actually from Egypt. It was originally like really rocky beaches, and for like one of the Olympics in the 20th century, they decided to make it look nice. So they just imported a load of Egyptian sand, and that is where they get their beautiful beaches from.
Why not?
Exactly. They have 68 parks, including the world's largest metropolitan park, Barcelona Park de Collserola, which is 22 times bigger than Central Park. So screw you, New York. This was a cool one. In 1792, it was vital to the measuring of the official meter. They did a thing between like Britain, a fortress in Barcelona, and the North Pole to make the meter measuring. The national dish for when you go over to watch a Dragons game, of course, is paella. And as we all know, paella is a fantastic dish, so you can have a lot of it. And the national drink, whilst it's maybe not a game bevy, it's Cava. So if you like Cava, there you go. But that's my research into Barcelona. Hope you all enjoyed.
Nice place.
Lovely.
Thank you. Who is bringing up the next team?
I'll go next. I've got the Frankfurt Galaxy, but before I get into them, let's start a little bit with Frankfurt. So Frankfurt, historically, is supposed to have been named by Charlemagne. It is the 5th biggest city in Germany, but is known as being one of the largest business centres in Europe, boasting Europe's 3rd largest airport and 14 of 15 tallest skyscrapers in Germany. In its skyline, it's no surprise that it's been given the nickname by some as Little Manhattan, as it's located on the River Main. It must be a great place to live, as it ranks 7th highest in terms of quality of life. So, must be doing something right there. It's also famous for its Frankfurter sausages and its apple wine, which is not to be mistaken for cider. Also known for its green sauce, which is a bit like a sour cream and herb sauce with hard-boiled eggs, usually served cold with some boiled spuds or some rye bread. Anyway, so let's move on. We'll move on to Frankfurt Galaxy now. So looked into the history of this team a little bit. It's a little bit all over the place, so bear with me. I've tried to make as much sense of the Galaxy name, at least as I could. So in 1991, the Galaxy was the founding member of the World League of American Football. They hosted the first ever WLAF game against the London Monarchs at the Walt Stadium on March 23rd, 1991, and scored the first ever points with a safety, but unfortunately lost that game. When the World League resumed in 95, the Galaxy, the Monarchs, and the Dragons were the only former WLAF teams that continued playing before it folded. Frankfurt Galaxy was the oldest pro team outside of the NFL and the CFL. Frankfurt also played in the last NFL Europe game, losing in 2007 World Bowl to Hamburg. The Galaxy's record 8 appearances in the 15 World Bowl games were evenly split in the standings, with 4 wins in 95, 99, 2003, and 2006, and 4 losses in 96, 98, 2004, and the final year in 2007. After the NFL Europe folded in 2007, a new club under the name of the Universe was formed from the ashes of the Galaxy, because they were unable to keep that name due to rights still being held by the NFL, and a little bit of sort of friction there. They won promotion from the German League Football 2 to the second tier in the German Football League in 2011. the team rebranded itself to the Galaxy ahead of the 2015 season and won promotion to the First Division South at the end of the season, and then they renamed itself again to the Frankfurt Universe in 2016. And then now joining this league, they've rebranded again. It's as much sense as I could make it that. If I'm wrong, please correct me, drop some comments, drop us a message and let me know. It was quite confusing. I obviously don't speak German, which doesn't help. So team colours, purple, white and orange. The stadium is the PSD Bank Arena, seats around 12,500 people, give or take. The head coach, Thomas Kostlin, 37-year-old police officer who took over as the head coach in the middle of last season after a surprising farewell from head coach Brian Caller, and is described as quite a patient sort of coach, patient worker. He's a former linebacker for the Universe since its founding season in 2007, so he's definitely got a lot of history there with that team, where he moved from the second division club, the Hanau Hornets. In 2014, he switched from from a player to the sidelines and became the defensive coordinator, and he proved to be quite the ideal choice for head coach. In recent years, the Universe has always been one of the sort of known as having one of the stronger defenses in the league. So it's sort of helped him with his career and his reputation there. At QB, they've got possibly the most prolific passer in Europe in 2019 with Jacob Sullivan from Rapid City, South Dakota, as they've got him as starting quarterback for the 2021 season. He played for the Marburg Mercenaries in the GFL South in 2019. He took the passing yardage lead partway into the season, and he never really let up. He ended up racking up 4,359 yards and a league-leading 43 touchdowns that season. And he led Marburg to a 9-5 record in their first appearance in the playoffs in 2 years, which is the best record since 2014. They've also signed recently friend of the show, Cadell King, linebacker. Cadell spent the 2018 season with the Potsdam Royals in the German Football League, and the 2019 season with the Frankfurt Universe. In 2018, he racked up 77 tackles, including 12 for the loss, making him the second leading tackler in the league. And he also helped Frankfurt to the semi-finals in 2019. Cadell, he's had a busy 2020. He competed in the CFL UK Global Combine and the NFL International Combine, and he's since had a championship with the Kuopio Steelers in Finland, and as well as stints with the biggest Archers in Poland and the Mallorca Vultures in the Spanish League. I apologize, I struggled with that one. So that's what as far as I got with Frankfurt.
That was amazing.
Begoshed.
Yeah, fair play, mate. It's a tough one. It sounds a tough one.
Begoshed. I don't know. Again, any Polish listeners, hit me up. Let me know.
All good, mate. All good. I quite enjoyed that. That's nice. That food though sounds grim. Like, sorry to anyone from Frankfurt, but that is just the most bland.
Apparently, it's quite a popular dish.
Yeah, potato eggs and like a herby sour cream. I can vibe.
I'd eat sand. Thank you.
Frankfurter sausages, though, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, no, I'll take those. Happy with that. There's no complaints. But the eggy sour stuff.
It must be doing something right for them if they're ranking 7th in terms of quality of life.
It's true. It's very true.
Okay, Joe, you're up.
Right, Stuttgart. So, obviously, as they're in the Southern Division, Stuttgart is based in Southern Germany. It's an unusual city, like compared to your average city. It's spread across a variety of hills, vineyards, valleys, and parks. So it's not like that industrial. It's just quite green. So, I've got a few facts about Stuttgart that I'm going to get off straight away. So Stuttgart is the home of the petrol-powered car. The city gets its name from a horse breeding past. It has unique mammoth trees, which are native to the US. I think it's in like near Yosemite in California. You got like the sleeping giants or something like that. Those monster trees.
The giant redwoods.
Yes, that's what they are. Yeah, you got them weirdly in Germany. And what you've all come here for, their meal that they love to eat is Malterchen, which is like a ravioli. It's a pasta filled with spinach, sauerkraut, breadcrumbs, and sometimes mincemeat, depending if you're a vegan or not. So the Surge, the actual team, they were founded this year in April 2021. Initially, the franchise was supposed to start as the Stuttgart Scorpions, adopting the name of Stuttgart's German Football League team. Since the members' assembly of the Stuttgart Scorpions decided to disallow the use of the name, the team formed as the Stuttgart Surge, reviving the World League of American Football Surge franchise of the 1992 World Bowl champions, the Sacramento Surge. It was a toss-up between the Stallions and the Surge, and they went for the Surge, and I prefer that name. Their colours, it's like a yellowy, greeny colour, and their secondary colour is black. With the presentation of the new team name in 2021, the franchise actually unveiled 2 logos, so not just the one. So they've got a major logo and a minor logo. So the major one, it's like they've got a big TV tower in Stuttgart. It's quite similar to the one that you see in Toronto. And it's like the yellow and blue that they've coloured it that, and it's got like a bit of a bolt on the shaft bit. And then there is like a lightning bolt, which is their minor one. So that's the word I'm afraid I have to use. It's all I could think of. But yeah, it's like a little lightning bolt with the team name on a white background. So yeah, it's quite, sorry, not on a white background. I think it's on a black background, whatever color it is. It has their name. The team that we're playing in the Gazi Stadion, which has a capacity of 11,410. So it's one of the biggest stadiums of the ELF. It's actually the oldest stadium that's still in use in Germany, as it was built in 1905. So the Stuttgart coach is Martin Hanselmann. He was the German coach between 2000 and 2006. He won the 2001 European Championship and came third in the 2003 World Cup. They also won the World Games in 2005. So he was a very successful coach with Germany. He worked for various GFL teams after this, and in October 2019, he became the head coach of the Stuttgart Scorpions. However, after their attempted participation of the ELF failed, he became the head coach of the new Stuttgart Surge. So he left the GFL team and came to the ELF team. The Surge have actually founded their own academy, which I quite like, in the form of a club where they will support the youth. And the reason why I'm drawn to the Stuttgart Surge is because Patriots fullback Jacob Johnson, he has an official position with the Surge. They don't know what it is yet. It's going to be announced at a further date. However, he does support them a lot from a media point of view, and he's hoping to get a sort of a bigger role within the club as the years go on. So a few players I'm going to name here. There are quite a bit, so I'm just going to name some of the international ones. So their quarterback, Jacob Wright, he's from Tallahassee, Florida, who accounted for 49 touchdowns over the course of his career. He was named into the first team all-conference team in his senior year. He threw for 1,933 yards and 21 touchdowns. He's a dual threat quarterback. He also rushed for 850 yards and 13 touchdowns in his career. And you've also got Dale Warren, who's the young linebacker who played at Chattanooga. I watched some of his highlights. He actually sacked Jalen Hurts. He bullied Jalen Hurts in his game when he played against Alabama in 2016. He actually forced him to fumble as well. So he's got a bit about him. He went to a Bills training camp in 2018. However, he was cut in pre-season and ended up playing in the AAF. He signed for Ottawa in the CFL in 2019 and is now looking to make his way in Europe for the Surge. And there's also an Englishman on their team, Jai Jackson, who is an offensive lineman. So it'd be good to see him getting a few minutes out there for Stuttgart. And that is your full guide to the Stuttgart Surge. Everything you ever need to know in that little bit there.
How do you be known as a town that's named after horses and then not go for the Stuttgart Stallions?
Yeah, that was, I was thinking that, but I like the Surge. It's different.
Yeah. Okay.
The Charge.
Yeah, there are some teams that do that. There's like a college team called like the Wild Herd or something.
Oh, the Marshall Wild Herd.
Yeah, that's the one. And there's also like a minor league team called the Chihuahuas or something.
Oh God.
The El Paso Chihuahuas. I've got their hat. Chihuahua, I can't say it.
Chihuahua.
I've got their hat. I'll wear it next podcast.
Okay. And wrap us up, Tim. Cologne Centurions.
So our final destination of our tour of Europe is the wonderful city of Cologne, fourth most populous city in Germany. Cologne Cathedral is a globally renowned landmark, apparently. I didn't recognize it though, so it can't be that globally renowned. Foods, interesting food in Cologne. You've got something called Himmel und Ant, which translates as heaven and earth, which is mashed potatoes and apple all mixed together. Sounds mean, but they go mad for it in Cologne, apparently. They are famous for their schnitzel. Who doesn't love a bit of schnitzel? Schnitzel's amazing. And also they have their own beer, Kolsch beer, which can only be called Kolsch if it's brewed in Cologne. So that's the city. Now onto the team. So Cologne played in NFL Europe from 2004 to 2007. And they're the only NFL Europe team that never won the World Bowl. They joined the ELF in the second phase of announcements. They were a last-minute replacement for the German Knights 1367 and the Ingolstadt Praetorians. There's a little bit of confusion about where they're going to play and where they're going to train, because there was a bit of a dispute with the existing Cologne GFL team. But according to some sources, they're going to play in the Südstadion, or South Stadium, which has a capacity of 11,748. Their coach is one of the strong points. They've got a coach called Kurt Heidelberg. He's an American coach, but he's a famed coach in Europe. He's got a long history of coaching many European teams. And in fact, he coached our very own Harry Routledge of EP Sports at the Karlstad Crusaders. Players, they've got a quarterback called Danny Fairley. He's American. He's previously played for the Frankfurt Galaxy. He's played across Europe. They've got a couple of one American running back who played for the University of Tennessee called Madre London. And they've got a player who's a German player that came through the International Pathway Program, and he was on the Ravens practice squad, a guy called Chris Esler. Their first game is against the Polish Panthers, and that's all I've got about the Cologne Centurions.
Okay, well, we've now gone over every single team, and I
feel like I've learned a lot. It's like I feel like I've learned, especially on a culinary side. Like,
no, yeah, it's been like a fun little school project, just learning the weird things about the places. But yeah, tell us if that's helped any of you pick a team. Let us know if any of us were absolutely wrong about what we said, and please correct us. Yeah. But yeah, any other ELF factoids you want to pop up before we sign off, guys?
It's T-minus 3 weeks now?
Yep.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to it.
And have you guys shortlisted a team yet as to what you're thinking of following, or are you going to give it a while?
I think for me, I'm going to go with Frankfurt from the day one, because obviously Cadell's been a friend of the show for quite a while. I think I'm going to go Frankfurt to start with.
Yeah, starting off with Frankfurt, but Barcelona Dragons really are piquing my interest, I must say, and the Hamburg Sea Devils.
Yeah,
I think as well as the pick a team series we've done, we're going to try and get at least one player from each team to be interviewed. So we've got a few to watch out for. Jadrian Clark was quite convincing to support Hamburg Sea Devils as well. And as Adam said, we're interviewing the Barcelona Dragons quarterback, Zach Edwards. We're interviewing that on Monday, so that'll go out sometime next week. So we'll see.
I quite like that Wroclaw Panthers colour scheme. Like that, like blue and blacks. Like I don't know. It looks nice.
Yeah. We're all gonna pick team because we're gonna speak to the players who are like, oh, actually, no, I like that team. I like that.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of them, like literally the day before, who we're gonna follow. I am edging towards Stuttgart now, especially with the Jacob Johnson link. I think that's quite a big thing for me, so it's tempting.
It's the Shaft logo as well, isn't it?
It's the Shaft logo. Gets me going. That.
Right. I might pick a team before the season starts, and then I'll decide for good whether I'm going to commit or
they're shit and they lose.
I don't know, because it's tough because I've not really got a feel for the teams at the moment. So I think pick up a Game Pass.
To pick a team, but also to support Cadell.
Yes,
that's
very true.
Oh, I don't think that's. I think you could do both.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards doing both because I'm not a big fan of purple.
What? I'm offended.
Yeah, but just before we sign off, I just want to shout out the 76ers for 2-0. Let's go. No, Joe's been watching some of the basketball.
You're playing the Wizards.
Hey, we're just trying to get...
Their players get angry when popcorn gets thrown at them.
Have you seen that player? That fan got banned for life.
Did he? Oh, no.
The guy on Trae Young. Mate, the New York Atlanta games have been a hype to watch.
Yeah,
Madison Square Garden is popping.
Also, Ting, if you're watching, hit me up. I'm your boy. Hit me up. Okay.
Big sponsor opportunity.
Yeah. Hit me up.
What else have I got on my desk?
Ting, I don't know what Ting is, so if you want to send us some free cans, I'll promote it in Scotland.
Mate,
I'll have some.
It's my magic juice. Keeps me going.
You can find us on all our social medias. And how can they find us, Joe?
Yes, our Twitter and Instagram is at TAFS_UK, and our Facebook is That American Football Show.
Make sure you're letting us know what we got right and what we got wrong on any of those medias. We're also now live on YouTube. Craig's man in the front there. How can they find us?
Yeah, if they just throw in That American Football Show, our channel will pop up. There's a fair few videos on there now, and we've got a few more on the way in the next week or so. Yeah, check it out.
Make sure you check our friends at our Lockdown Lids as well. There's a really exciting one going last week, the Chase Young signed jersey frame. So
we've got the Lunar Eclipse series going up soon. So it's the new, it's sort of like the black one I've got behind me, the Eclipse. It's like the flip of that. So it's like black face cage, white minis, and they've got some big names there.
Is that a bit like the White Ravens one you got at the top there?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. Also, leave us feedback, please. Wherever you're listening from, just let us know what you think. Let us know where you're listening from. And like we said before, we're going to be pumping out a lot of ELF news in the next few weeks. So do keep your ears peeled if you like that kind of stuff. Guys, anything else we want to talk about before we get them off?
You want to get them off?
I don't know why I said get them off. Yeah, I said it. I was like, no, that's
yeah, we're keeping that. Let's keep this rolling. That's good.
Nice. Thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you head over and check out our friends at EP Sports for any of your NFL and equipment needs, and we will see you next week.
Hasta luego.
Let's go, Galaxy.